You should have. I think that would have been funny. All right, guys, welcome to the live well here at Fish North Georgia. This Tuesday night, glad you guys are joining us. We got a great show in store for you. We're going to talk about controversies or debates or whatever you guys want to talk about. And Lord knows there's plenty of it out there for us to discuss. Now, we've got our own ideas of a few topics we want to talk about, but anything you guys want to bring up, even if it's not fishing related, we might talk about it tonight. It's just one of those nights. Now, we will talk about fishing, and, you know, if you guys ask about it, with the bites going on. I fished Blue Ridge this weekend. Did you fish this weekend, Justin?
Not this weekend.
All right, so anyway, not this weekend. Alex fished a little bit, didn't you?
Yeah, but I didn't have. It wasn't very good.
That's all right. We can talk about it. Did you fish, Clint?
I was on Hartwell for 4 days.
That's right. You was up at the Elites and all that. And we can talk about that. And before I even start anything, I want to say congratulations to Paul Marks Jr. on his Elite Series win, and Emil Wagner for his top 10, and, of course, even Georgia boy Drew Cook. Georgia boys were well represented, but we knew it was just a matter of time for one of these young anglers from North Georgia got the win. Paul got it. There's no doubt Emil's going to get one sooner or later. It's going to happen. So we're very, very proud of Paul, and eventually, one of these days, we'll get him on the show. He's hard to track down. If he ain't fishing, he's duck hunting or deer hunting, doing something. He's always on the go. So got my buddy Justin Tritt in the house tonight. And the reason I got him in here because he's got a lot of opinions on things. And so it's going to be what tonight is. And Thursday night I'll be out. I won't be here Thursday night. Tony, Alex, and somebody else will be running the show. So you guys make sure you join them as well. If you're watching on YouTube, make sure you subscribe. You don't understand how much that helps the channel. It's free, and you can join some of the membership stuff, but it's free to subscribe and gets us thrown up there a little bit more in the algorithm, I think, right there. So before we get started, let's hit all our fine sponsors. And, of course, we start every show with Trent and the guys over at Sonar Pro, 770-530-4505, the official sonar installer of the live well. I wonder how many boats in that Elite Series that was fishing this weekend Trent did. You know? I know there's some.
At least 25.
A bunch of them.
Yeah.
So if the Elite guys are having Trent put their sonar and making sure all their electronics are top shelf, do it for yourself right there. So go to Sonar Pros off Highway 369. We appreciate them. Next is Kevin Underwood with Lipsticker Fishing, 678-459-8419. Kevin at lipstickerfishing.com. Or check out his Patreon at patreon.com/lipstickerfishing. He was on the show just a couple weeks ago. He's absolutely slamming those spotted bass on Lake Lanier. So if you want to go catch some megalodons, that's the man right there, Kevin Underwood. And then, of course, we got the best rod sleeve on the market, Evolve Fishing's rod sleeve. I don't know how many good things I can say about them. They float. They got all the little protection things on them. But the best of all, you can throw them in a rod locker, and the hooks are not going to get stuck in them like those cheap Japanese, Chinese finger traps.
Mesh ones, yeah.
Mesh ones right there. So appreciate them. You can get them here at Fish North Georgia. Go to evolvefishing.com. And then the Money Saver Lure Retriever. Still the best plug knocker on the market, bar none. Got them here at Fish North Georgia. It's designed right. That's the best thing about it. You can buy these cheaper knockoffs, and you can buy some of the expensive ones with a rope. This thing is designed perfectly to get your lure back just about every time. So you always want one of those in your boat. If you're on Lake Allatoona and you want to fish with a legend, Bill Payne's Guide Service, 706-280-2305. He does Lake Allatoona. He will do seasonal smallmouth trips. He also will show you how to use your electronics. So I'm telling you, one of the nicest people you'll ever meet. So book a guide trip with him, 706-280-2305, Bill Payne's Guide Service. And then one of my favorite people in the entire fishing industry, that's Brooks Anderson with Brooks Anderson Fishing. He was just on the show last week. If you missed it, go back and watch it. The kid is going places, and he's very knowledgeable and one of the most polite people you will ever meet. The other night, you know how they gave me that small shirt, the medium that was too small? You know what I got in the mail yesterday? He sent me the right size. So anyway, hey, listen, Spotted.
I'd like to see you in that medium.
That medium. That's what they were saying. It'd be a can of biscuits right there. Lake Lanier spotted bass. Where they're at, why they're there, how to catch them. That's Brooks Anderson Fishing. And then we got our buddies, Fishers of Hope. Their mission is to glorify God, be servants of his word, and bring those in need to peace and hope that only he can bring. It's a ministry that throws fishing tournaments for those in need. If you have a need, reach out to them at fishersofhope ministry@gmail.com, or if you want to help them. And that's really what they need, is people to partner with them to help not only put these tournaments on, but if you can donate some time to them or donate some money to them. They're a nonprofit. and they sure could use your help. Follow them on Facebook as well. And then behind me, let me get out of the way right there. Turner Tire in Jasper, Georgia. Actually, they're doing one of Clint's trailer tires right now. It's where I take my vehicles to get their tires. That's 706-253-3339. Brock and the guys. It's a great family-run business, tires and alignment for whatever you need. And then, of course, if you've got a business and you want to partner with us and put it in front of some of the most loyal fans in the fishing industry, or even some of their family watches, depending on who the guests are. But if you want to get your company's name out there, advertise right here. Hit me up, Danny at fngo.com. Tell me about your business. Tell me what you're looking to get, and see how we can serve you and how you can partner with us. And I'm telling you, we're going places, and you want to get on the ground floor right now. So things are getting ready to get big. That's all I'm going to say. I'll drop it with that. So anyway, let's get back to who all we got right there. Brian Justice. Hit that like button. Absolutely. Give us a thumbs up right there. Eddie Hutchinson, Fred Ashcraft. Let's just all fish and get along. Listen, it's not all of it's fishing related, though. Some of it's business related, and there's a little bit from everything. John Aldred, man, hey, listen, he actually sent me a picture of about a 5-pounder. He caught on a wacky worm, boys. I'm going to get him away from them big swim baits. He caught a nice one on a wacky worm. T-Toms, Coleman Jones. Jonah's out there. DA, yeah. So Danny, how many times did you have to use that money saver retriever on Blue Ridge? We know you got hung up a lot. Actually, listen, not many times. I did not get hung up at all, but I didn't catch a ton of fish either. It was just one of those things. Caught a few. Collins is here. They call me Collins T. Toms and Ron Swinford. So, and Far Dog, listen. This is our buddy from Oklahoma. I saw the weather for you guys again, and it seems like it's been raining over Oklahoma for about the past 4 months. Mm-hmm. And you guys are going to get some more. So hate it for you guys. Hope everybody's okay, and let us know if we can do anything for you. Fred Ashcraft, let's just get it started. Crazy videos and podcasts let out this week. So, yeah, there's plenty to talk about. Now, I know when most people think about, let's talk about drama and debate, you guys think we're going to start with forward-facing sonar, and we're not. Not saying you can't bring it up in the comments section, but that's not where we're going tonight. I'm going to start off based upon a podcast. Jeremy Conkright, feel the same in Kentucky. It's raining as we speak. I'm telling you, it's crazy. Oh, let me read this from Tony Watkins, Fisher's Hope. Don't forget our tournament on May 10th from Ledford Chapel Ramp on Lake Chattooga. So this is Fisher's of Hope on Lake Chattooga. For Miss Angie, she's battling cancer, waiting on a liver transplant. Love to have a bunch of you Altoona and Lanier guys up there. Listen, one of the best things you can do to make your heart feel better is to go help somebody in need. And if you can do it by fishing, even better. So if you don't have nothing to do this weekend, not this weekend, the following weekend, 2 weeks, right?
Yeah,
date's right.
Yeah.
Not this Saturday, but the following Saturday. Just go up there and fish.
This is a win-win. Most tournaments you pay the entry fee, you don't cash a check and you get nothing out of it. Something like this, at least you're helping somebody, even if you don't win. You come in last place, at least you feel good about it.
That's right. And there's no debate on that. No debate on that whatsoever. It was a great win for Paul Marks. Absolutely. Well, okay. Let me rephrase that. I'm going to start off with a different one. Then we'll get to the podcast.
We'll get to the podcast in a bit.
If you watch the elites, you saw two Georgia boys going at it. Now, Drew Cook, my God, I've never seen anybody so patient, but he was bed fishing. On the flip side, you had Paul Marks Jr., and a lot of them, like a minute, they were scoping. We hear a lot of crap about both of those. So let's debate the pros and cons. We'll start with Drew Cook first. Not Drew Cook, but what he was doing. Bed fishing. Right, wrong, indifferent about it. How do we feel about that? And either one of you guys can jump on that.
Oof. I don't fundamentally disagree with bed fishing, especially when there's that much money on the line.
Yeah.
But I also, if I catch a fish on a bed and say I'm in a tournament, I go weigh it in, I'm going to take the time after the tournament to go release it where I caught it.
You're going to drive all the way back?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Especially if it's a good one. Those are the genetics we need in the fisheries.
Right. Okay. But you have no problem bed fishing in a tournament?
No.
All right, Clint?
I mean, I just don't do it enough. Like I I've never hit the right spawn window and been able to fish it enough to be confident in it. And like, I mean, I feel like any time between March and May or June, like you're going to catch a fish that's in the act of spawning at some point. So, I mean, I really don't see a big difference. I don't really like when they're like pulling all these fish from the south end and taking them up to Laurel Park and stuff during that time.
Right.
But I mean, at the end of the day, like the fishery is still pretty healthy to where that's not completely effective.
Yeah, and you guys in the comment section, let us know, how do you feel about bed fishing, specifically in tournament situations? You can throw your comment out there for any time, but specifically in the tournament, because I will tell you this. I mean, Drew basically said, this is what I'm going to do for 4 days. And by gosh, for the most part, he stuck to it and almost pulled it out. But you got guys too. When I compared it to Paul Marks, he's like, well, he was old school fishing. And I'll be honest, if you listen to the Bassmaster the guys talking about it, it seemed to me Drew got a lot of coverage compared to other anglers.
There was like 30 seconds of Paul Marks and like a minute and a half of Wesley Gore. Everything else was Drew Cook all day.
Well, seriously. Now I realized he had the lead going into the final day.
Yeah.
But it was almost as if they were saying they wanted Drew to win because he was doing an old school technique. I mean, that's just kind of the feel I got, you know. And I don't know that to be true, but listening to what they were saying.
And I feel bad for guys like Paul Marks or Tucker Smith that are like, this is their, like they're in the top 10. Like this is incredible timing for them. And then, I mean, it'd be different if Drew was hammering each one, but like why play 3 hours of him working the same fish when you could get that clip and replay it at the like
at
hey,
any time,
like instead of waiting, like, well, let's watch these herring guys fish the herring spawn. Let's see this different stuff. But it was kind of just the same. And I understand the suspense of it, but because that would have won his tournament for him.
Yeah.
But like, why not? Everything's on a replay anyway. Why don't you just replay that?
Yeah, it was. I mean, now, and don't get me wrong, I absolutely love Drew Cook.
Yeah, and I do too. So.
Absolutely fantastic guy, fun to be on a podcast with. I've never seen anybody be so patient. And that was when I was texting my cousin, and he was like, his patience is just off the charts to work a fish. But
and his eyes too, like just the way he finds a fish, like we'll see those subtle little, and I think that's why he's good at hunting and stuff too. I'm sure.
Oh, he can, yeah.
Oh yeah.
But it was like, but then you're gonna get the people in the comments and everything like, bed fishing hurts fisheries. Bed fishing's bad. And so let me read some of the comments. Anthony Hampton. If bed fishing is a problem, why is Alatuna pumping out big girls lately? I don't think it hurts the lake. And again, I'm not a biologist. We're just debating it. Collins, I suck at it, but if 100,000 is on the line, I can't fault anybody. Jeremy Conkright, the thing is, some spawn deep, some spawn early, different waves, so we never get on some never even get fish for. That's basically what he was saying. And then Fred, I'll go ahead and read that and we'll keep talking. People don't realize how much time they spend around a body of water to release fish as bait. I think what he's saying is,
as best they can.
Yeah, so that's it. Alex, from the kayaker perspective, you guys just measure and release. So do you really have a problem with bed fishing at all?
Not at all.
Yeah, I personally don't.
Especially if there's $100,000 on the line, I don't really care what anyone has to say
Listen,
about
if
it.
that was $100,000, I'd sell my mom to some sketchy people to get $100,000.
You know what I mean?
Now, Mama, if you're watching this, it's just a joke, but that's just me saying how much I would go for. Now, Coleman Jones has got an interesting comment. Pull that out right there. It's such a small percentage of fish that is statistically improbable and almost impossible it has an effect. I heard somewhere the other day that, and I forget what it's on, that really only 10% of a lake's fish actually gets caught in a given year. Mm-hmm. I don't know that to be true. I'm just saying,
it's not that far off, I don't think.
No, and it's probably gone up with forward-facing sonar, I would think. But
well, I've got a crazy.
I don't even know if it'd be 10%. You look at a lake like Lanier. How many fish are in that lake?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think you could. There's more guides on Lanier than you can. I mean, you could throw a rock and hit a guide, but I still don't think with that much pressure that you're even catching 10% of those fish.
Probably not. And I still have this crazy idea, and I might be right, I might be wrong, but I think because of forward-facing sonar, we're catching all those fish offshore now. But I actually think that's kind of took some of the pressure off the bank fish, the shallow water fish.
I think you're going to start to see some of that come back.
Well, you should.
And when you still, they don't get as much coverage now because it's not the cool thing to be doing. But like, you still have your guys that, you know, they're beating the bank when everybody else is out there saying the fish are in 30 feet of water and they're throwing in the dirt.
Yeah.
And there's fish still up there.
Yeah, for sure. And we're going to get to the Slick Johnson video. Trust me.
That's coming
we all
up.
watch it. It's coming. Tim 418, and I've heard this from a lot of people. Catch and release has been one of the worst things to happen to bass fishing. Fish need to be taken out of bodies of water. Carrying capacity is a real thing.
Absolutely agree with that.
Now, I've got a biologist buddy, and when he comes back on, we're going to talk about Latham Reservoir over here. They noticed the weights were going down. So what they did, this is right around COVID or whatever. So what they did was they said you had to release every bass for a year. They did some tagging and stuff, trying to help get those weights back up. He thinks the fact that they did that hurt the lake even worse, that it's overpopulated. I don't know that to be true, but that's just, and then we're talking about a 340-acre lake, which is basically a mini Lake Lanier.
Begging.
And so, you know, it can be that. Now, did you guys, okay, I don't even want to talk about scoping yet. We'll get to that. I was just curious on the bed fishing. So we're all good with it.
Mm-hmm.
Now, how about outside of a tournament?
Whatever.
I knew you'd say that. What about you?
But even then, same thing.
Just release it.
I'll catch it. I'm going to release it right there.
Yeah.
And like if they're locked on, you can be 30 yards away, you know, staying off of it, catching it. You catch it and put it back. It goes straight back to it.
Yeah.
Every time it goes straight back to the bed.
Okay.
So I don't think you're hurting anything there.
All right. You're good with it. Then all right there. Let's see. David Weaver. We must have a billion huge spots on there. They're there. They're there. Pull up Thad Moody right there. Appreciate you guys joining us tonight. Catch and release culture is one of the worst things to happen to bass fishing. X amount of fish need to be taken out of lakes. Did I read that twice?
Yeah, someone else posted it as well.
Oh, but
Yes.
basically, listen, is it the same thing? I think he might have two different. He might have been on.
Yeah,
two.
it looks like it was copy and pasted.
Probably
A
him.
carbon copy there. Well, hey, listen. I hope both of your channels are subscribed.
No, and he's
He's a biologist.
I'm not a biologist, but like if you go up to, so I take some of my family's in Illinois.
Yeah.
So I go up there and fish, and one of my brother's coworkers has a big lake on his property, and he knows I like to fish, so he'll let me come out there and fish. And about every time I go out there and I start fishing, he said, "You catch anything under 2 pounds, keep it. I'm trying to get all those out."
Yeah.
Because they just devour everything.
Gotcha.
So he's doing exactly that. He's reducing the fish population so that the ones that are in there can get bigger. There's only so much food to go around.
Right. DA says, if you think about the amount of fry in a single bass bed produces, I do not think it has an effect. I don't know what the survival rate is on that. It's just interesting, you know, because there's some like Kevin ain't bed fishing. And there's some to say I'm not bed fishing no matter what. They firmly believe it. And I told you this before, that even when we talk about Slick's video, if you look in the comments, it's like divided. Like this whole country is divided on every single topic, and the gray area gets smaller and smaller. You know, so now pull up Far Dog. In my opinion, bed fishing has no substantial impact on a lake. Look at Toledo Bend or San Rayburn or Lake Fork at the pressure they receive, but yet they produce year after year. Now, I wonder on some of these lakes, when a reservoir starts getting older, and people don't realize this, lakes age.
Well, they cycle.
They
have life
age,
cycles.
and you might have a downturn in it. You know, the nutrients might not be as good. And then, of course, everybody's going to blame everything else. But I don't think people really take into account the age of a lake as well. Now, again, I don't know that to be true. But Jimmy Dixon.
Well, I don't know on his comment.
What was
I don't know that any lake in Texas is a good litmus test for that, because that share lunker program has done. Saying. Yeah, I mean they only release big bass genetics in those lakes.
Oh yeah, for sure. So Jimmy's comment: if you are concerned with the spawn, get rid of the bluegill. Hey, listen.
I'll knock the sides off some
yeah,
gillies.
Right.
Yeah.
Hey, listen, I love it. Thad Moody. you are around 10 pounds of bait fish per pound of bass to grow a pound of bass. To grow a bass, 1 pound. Did I say that right?
Essentially, yeah.
So 1 pound bass equals 10 pounds of bait fish. 3 pound bass will need 30 pounds of food. So as long as you've got the bait and the carrying capacity, you can do that. You don't have to. You can
or
do
else
the
you
catch.
end up with a bunch of micros because all they can eat is bugs.
Yeah, and that's what my buddy up in Illinois is doing. He wants all those little ones out because it just gets overpopulated. They never grow big because they're always eating everything.
Yeah, David Weaver, spotted bass tacos. I'm good. I'm gonna tell you this: if you're gonna eat bass, eat a spot.
Oh yeah,
Eat a
especially
spot.
like September to March is like prime time. The meat is definitely, it's like a little bit more firm. You get a better fillet off of it.
Yes.
And then like you can freeze them for later too. Like I feel better about freezing those winter.
I don't know with all these spills that are happening in all these rivers. I don't know if I'm gonna be eating much.
Flute Master, when he was on here, he was talking about crappie, and he said he will not eat any crappie caught when it starts getting hot because he says they get little worms in them and stuff. But so in his mind, if you want to fill your freezer up, you do it during that time frame that you were talking about, the cold water. Largemouth are not very good. Now pull up Ron Swinford's right here. From the average largemouth bed, if 10,000 eggs hatch, about 10 make it to a year old. For spots, about 13 make it to a year old. So you're looking at less than like 0.0001% if what Ron's saying is correct. And Ron, I'd just be curious as to where you get those numbers. And I'm not disputing your numbers. I'm just curious as to how you heard that. All right. So, but anyway, bed fishing. Okay. Now let's go ahead and let's just jump into the juice. We had a little primer with the bed fish. So also too, guys, I'm going to go ahead and put this out there for you guys. There are some things that Clint is not going to comment on and cannot comment on because he's in the industry, and we're going to be very much careful with that. Now, Alex, Justin, and me, we got no such
wide
thing.
open.
So let me go ahead for anybody that Clint's associated with. If he chooses not to talk about a topic and we say something that offends you, is not Clint. Do not get on to him. He has nothing to do with it. 100%. Is that good?
And the chances with the topics we have coming up, the chances are pretty good.
Well,
something is going to offend you tonight.
Well, first of all, I like Clint. Second of all, I'm going to cover his ass because guilt by association does not apply right here.
Yeah.
Okay. So we put it out there beforehand. So don't be calling Clint, fussing at Clint. It was all Justin's fault.
Yes.
All Justin's fault. Ron says he's seen that multiple different scientific sources. Including a large article that was on Bassmaster years ago. Well,
can you trust what Bassmaster has to say?
I was getting ready to say that. Just if you listen to certain people out there in certain circles, Bassmaster has an image problem. So we're going to debate this a little bit. We're going to talk about it. It's more of a controversy than it is a debate. So if, hey, Becca,
that's my wife.
Oh, she was gathering duck eggs. Dude, duck eggs are so much better than chicken
Are
eggs.
they? See, okay.
Yes. You want to debate it?
I mean, I don't like eggs, period. I can't eat them.
Yeah.
But I keep hearing that.
You got tummy problems? You allergic to them?
Yeah, no. I don't know. They just mess my stomach up. And
you were fussing about the kind of coffee I drink?
I really just don't like the way they taste. Dude. No, I've got some weird eating habits. You can ask her.
Duck eggs. If you can get your hands on some duck eggs, number one, they're bigger. That yolk is really, really good and rich. Eat duck eggs all day long. They do have
quail eggs.
Quail eggs are good too.
Pickled quail eggs
with a cold beer.
Yeah.
Pickled any egg with a cold beer is that might be top 10 for me right there.
Duck eggs are awesome. So now we're going to talk about ducks.
Duck eggs are awesome. They're great, dude. Listen, but I'm going to tell you, don't go to Tractor Supply and buy you a bunch of ducks unless you're really committed. Because first of all, them things shit more than any animal I've ever seen, and it comes off horizontal.
So we didn't know this.
You know it now, don't you?
Oh God, do we?
Yeah.
Ducks are nasty. They are
Bad.
nasty birds. If you don't like the smell of duck shit, don't get ducks because that's all you're going to smell.
Mm-hmm. I'm going to ask you this off the air, and we're not going to talk about it anymore. But if you've ever seen a male duck's unit, just go Google it.
We just experienced that.
It's corkscrew.
Literally in the last 48 hours.
Yeah, just go. That's all I'm going to say about it. But a male duck, they will kill.
Google it on private mode so it doesn't show up in your history.
Have you seen it? You know what I'm talking about?
No.
It's corkscrew, dude.
Oh God!
It's corkscrew. It's
it looks like a pigtail.
It's
So
awful.
now we're talking about it.
It's awful. That's all we're going to talk about there because people will be like, I'll get somebody else to tell me we shouldn't talk about,
Yeah.
things like that on this show. And, but did you just Google it? Are you doing it right now?
Is that it?
Yep.
Yes,
that is
dude.
it.
It's a
Dude,
squirmy worm,
It looks
dude.
like the last piece of pasta left in the
Moving
bowl.
Can't say I've ever seen a duck dangler. Well, Nick B, neither had Clint. He just Googled it, and it just opened his eyes to what happened.
A duck dangle.
And listen, and they're vicious, man. A male duck, dude.
I thought he was going to drown him.
Oh, they'll hold their head, the
Yeah.
female's head
Yeah.
underwater.
Yeah,
Yeah, I asked my wife. I said, "Is that okay?"
Have you,
This- yeah.
Listen though, if you put ducks and chickens together, put a male duck with some hens. Oh, it doesn't matter. He is cross species to everything. Them chickens don't know what hit them, man.
It's a dickin'.
Deep end has been reached, Tracy Coker. No, listen, okay.
It's early on yet.
it's
We're getting
early
to
on.
the deep end.
All right, so anyways, that's enough about that. It's like, everybody's like, man, on that podcast last night, they talked about duck packers. That's it. So no, okay, we'll stop. So pull up Far Dog's comment because what we're talking about is Slick Johnson did a podcast video, and I love Slick to death. He's a buddy of mine. I'm not saying I agree with everything Slick says, but I mean we get along well.
You have to take Slick at face value.
Oh yeah, because some stuff he's like
He's
agging
way
on.
out there on it,
Yeah.
but it starts a conversation that I think gets a lot of people. Well, and you would hope in this industry by now that it gets a lot of people maybe to spend some time in front of the mirror and look at how they're being perceived
Yeah,
from the outside. And Slick does a great job of that.
he's a fool. I like him. I mean, he not everybody does, but we get along. Me and Slick get along, and I appreciate his friendship. I get some behind.
You get
the
some
scenes.
perks.
I get some behind the scenes info that you guys don't get. For a few days. It comes.
You heard
out.
it here first. Danny's friends with benefits with Slick Johnson.
I guess if you put it that way. It might be that. Well, you laughing. Clint's over there just like worried. Cerebral tackle. What's up? I heard duck dangler and somehow ended up here. Yeah, no, dude. That's just the way it is. What's up, John G? Now, we were talking back. Pull back up the Far Dog right there. So Slick had on, and I know Cerebral, you watched it live. I think you watched it live. You and I watched it.
Yeah, I watched
it
today.
on YouTube
Yeah.
today and all that. I ain't got time to watch Slick live. I always tell him like that. First of all, he gets up and goes to the bathroom more than anybody.
Yeah, every 10 minutes.
Every 10 seconds, Slick's got to go to the bathroom. The new ownership of Bassmasters is the biggest downfall for the organization. If you look back at the ownership over the years, they had a backbone, and now they are yeller to the core. Now, he had Matt Herron on, and let's just say Matt Herron was very opinionated, said a lot of stuff. Slick was very opinionated about some of the people associated with Bass.
Yes, he did.
So if you haven't watched it, you might not get everything we're going to be talking about, but you need to go back and watch it. It is kind of interesting. Now, let's talk about Matt Herron to start off with. And if you can join in, you can join in, Clint. If you can't, you can't. Some of the things that he was saying about, first of all, his condition when taking the polygraph.
Yeah. Okay.
Now, he said that he was a muscle relaxers or pain pad, whatever, he was under some kind of medication and all that. I was looking in the comments, and I'm not going by what he said. I don't give two shits, but I'm going by the comments. There were some in there saying, good for you, polygraph stink, shouldn't be done. Then you got other side of the comments were saying he's just whining. He looks guilty. He's caught, and this is an excuse. Alex is shaking his head back there. So, Alex, I'm going to give you the mic. Put the camera on you. Put the camera on you. Give me your opinion first. And I do not know Matt Herron personally.
Me neither.
Okay, so
Not at all.
just based on what you saw in Slick's video, what's your opinion on how Matt came across? We'll get into the details later, but how he came across. Be honest.
I think that he broke the rules, and he knows he broke the rules, and he's crying about it, and he's trying to throw everybody else under the bus, whether it's made up or not. Maybe some of the truth is stretched, maybe some of it's not, but
So
that's how you took it.
yeah,
Okay,
100%.
all right, that's fine.
How different is that? I mean, do you feel the same way about the Scott Martin?
Oh,
yeah, he does.
Oh, well, I think Scott Martin's full of shit.
Okay.
I mean, no, he's.
I do.
Just knowing
100%.
Alex. Alex
Well,
is like black and white.
I just wanted to see how people felt about both situations, because I feel like both situations were pretty similar,
Right.
And ultimately had the same result.
Right.
So, I think there was some people are probably looking back at it a little differently now that it's a different person.
Yeah.
Because Scott Martin, he comes from a legendary family in bass fishing, and I think some people have his back just for that reason.
It's kind of like we all know Michael Jordan is the greatest player, but the man had a gambling problem. But no
you don't
matter
hear about
what
his
he
gambling
did,
problem.
yeah, but no matter what he did, you love him so much, you're willing to overlook,
Right?
or him being a butt to his teammates and all
Yeah.
that. Okay, I get. So you're saying that's what you feel like with Scott Martin?
Yeah,
Kind of, sort of.
I feel like I just wanted to see, and they can put it in the comments section if people feel that the situation is the same for both people, and that was the situation fair?
Okay, yeah.
What was it fair?
I don't know. I don't know. That's what we're debating. We're talking about it. Can you comment on that, or you want to stay out of that one?
I mean, I don't know.
You just chime in when you feel like you got something to say
Yeah.
on that, because you got to be careful. But pull up Cerebrals right there. It's not about being honest, transparent, or intelligent. Oh, it's about not being honest, transparent, or intelligent. That's Bass's problem. Well, if you listen to what Heron was saying, that's what he was saying.
He said
that
Bass is run like the mafia, which
him and Slick said that.
Yeah,
said,
which I mean, I've got some polarizing opinions on that. Like,
go ahead.
We go back to,
I'm here all night.
If you don't like the way it's run, find a different league to fish in.
Yeah, right now we have the perfect blend of all three. Like, if everything could just stay the way it is right now, it'd be legit.
Yeah, you can find.
And we talked about this before the show. Like, and not to bring up forward-facing sonar, because I know that's going to come up, but that seems to be the polarizing topic, which push people to one league or the other. And the other thing I think people forget, and why this is such a big thing, like, just because you're a great bass fisherman does not give you the right to fish in bass. It is a private company. They can do whatever they want. And if you don't like it, or they don't like you, they don't have to keep you there just because you meet all the criteria. They're just like employees at any company. They can fire you for whatever they want to.
Okay. I'm not disputing that. I think what you're going to get here tonight, the opinions that we're going to talk about, by no means are we experts, but this is the way it's going to be talked about at the boat ramp, or, guys in a tackle shop. So that's kind of like, we're trying to hit it from our limited knowledge, but from our perspective. Okay. So, but I was shocked to hear some of the things that he was saying. And I was shocked at Slick's opinion of Dave Mercer.
Oh, goodness.
My Lord, did you hear that? I don't know Mercer.
I don't. I've met him a couple times, and that's the hard part about this, is because, like, you only get to see what these people put out there for you to see. But one of the things that you can't see is a person's integrity, and like they probably have more of an insight into this than any of the three of us, right?
Sure.
Whether that be through other people or through personal connections, but I don't like when people call out somebody else's integrity unless that's something you got to back that up.
Yeah. No,
you got to back that up immediately.
Yeah.
With fact, not with rumor, not with something you heard, not with an opinion. That's something that, like, if you're going to question a person's integrity, you better have facts ready to go.
No, go down a little bit. Go to Coleman's, and then you got keep on going down. Let's see. Let's see. I'm just you guys are talking in the comments section. Now you're going down.
This lit them up, huh?
No, right there, Coleman, right there at the bottom. I don't have an opinion either way, but regardless, Bass should be willing to send him the poly results. Yeah. That was something that he brought up.
Yeah.
Now, is there Cerebral? You investigate, because his next one, pull him up to right there below it. Being an expert in polygraphs, his health conditions could absolutely be a factor in failing a polygraph. That cannot be disputed.
No, absolutely not.
I mean, because I could if I took like a couple of 5-hour energies, man, and go in there, y'all know how I'm wired up.
And inherently, I have a problem with not like if you're going to DQ somebody or kick them off the tour because of the results of a polygraph, they should at least share that with the person that did it.
But are
right?
they legally required to?
No, but that's the other side of it is there something in the Bass rule book that says they don't have to? And if you didn't like that, why'd you sign up?
Well, you now, Clint, you deal with a lot of tournament anglers. You know they're going to have to take poly. They know they're going to take polys at any time.
Yep.
We also know that polys are not admissible in court for whatever reasons. We get that every time we talk about them.
Yep.
The big thing was brought up about who did the poly. You
Yep.
know, so the whole thing was kind of
They flew a guy out from California rather than, Slick said the best polygrapher in the country was 15 minutes away from the Scott Martin debacle, and they were flying some guy in from California that got fired from his job in New York for fudging records. I mean, that's kind of some stuff that Bass may have wanted to look into before they hired this guy.
Do you think that Bass probably thought this would never come to light? That's why they hired him. I mean,
well, if
did
you
he have
listen,
a $99 special?
If you listen to this podcast and they say it's run like the mafia, then I mean, if that's actually the case, then probably. Because, I mean, if they're threatening people like, hey, if this ever comes out, you're off, you're done. I mean, I know, like, if I had $100,000 a tournament, 9 tournaments a year on the line and a shot at 200 for the Classic.
Yeah.
But I'm not saying a word about it.
Yeah.
Like,
well,
I need that money.
To play devil's advocate, because you work for Yamaha, I guarantee you, if you said one bad thing about Yamaha in public, you're gone.
Yeah.
But that's the point I was making earlier.
Yeah.
It's still a private company.
Right.
Like if you had somebody working in the shop and all they did was run their mouth about how bad the shop is when they're not here, you're not going to keep that person around.
No.
Right? You're still an employee of the company.
But he's technically, because they brought this up, they're a contractor.
Yeah, he said that it's some adhesion contract or
like they changed it.
I mean, almost everybody that works for Bass is a contractor.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. That makes sense. Pull up Far Dog. And listen, guys, any of you guys in the comment section that can share some light, hey, do it.
But here's the thing, the way I understood it, that being a contractor, you would think that would mean it's even easier to get rid of that person.
I think so. I think it is.
Yeah, that's why they do it like that.
Yeah, so it is easier. Pull up Far Dog there. I can tell you I've taken a polygraph 2 weeks after a hip replacement in the Fisheries of Men Championship and on painkillers and had 0 problems passing my polygraph. IEA, or in essence,
Heron is a cheater.
Heron is a cheater. Now, again, I'm reading the comment. So, that's opinion. So do you let me ask you, do you think, because Alex thinks he cheated.
So we talked about this before.
Yeah.
How do you police it? You can't, like, if what happened to him is what makes him a cheater. And again, I wasn't there. I don't know the story. I don't know what really happened, but if somebody's coming up here to buy some tackle from the shop and they're a pro and you're talking behind the counter and saying, hey, this is working in the shop, and they overhear it, do they go DQ themselves?
We had a thing about intent.
Information. Yeah. And that was a point that was brought up that, I agree with them on.
For the record,
put the camera on you. Put the camera on you.
I don't think it's cheating, but he's breaking the rules.
Okay.
It's like me taking off my life jacket in a tournament.
Yeah.
And here comes the question.
You're breaking the rules.
Okay. What's the question? Put this on his face because I want it on camera. His question. Yeah, it's on you.
So he broke the rules. If you police that, I mean, how can you effectively police that?
You can't.
So why is it a rule in the first place?
I have my opinions on that.
I know. That's why I wanted to bring this up, because
then they need to change it. But until they do,
here's
don't break the rules.
Clint's like, this is like, I got to go to the bathroom on this.
Until they do, don't break the rules.
If somebody inadvertently gives you information, did you break the rules, or did somebody else break the rules for you? And does that merit a disqualification from a tournament or being kicked off the tour?
I think your reaction depends on whether or not you break the rules or not.
All right,
all about intent.
Intent,
that's
right there.
That's what we talked about earlier. You can't prove intent, which makes it impossible to police that effectively without picking favorites on who you're going to hold to a standard.
Where there's smoke, there's fire.
Okay, so let's
feel like it's enough.
Yeah,
context clues can
for sure. Let's hit some of the comments real quick, and then you don't have to pull them all up. I'm just gonna read them. So like Tony Watkins, I think Scott was guilty as charged, and he made a very uphill road for his daughter. Ron says, I really like Matt Herron. He has been several bass used and was always great to other kids and angler. But if he messed up, and he is older and got pissed off. Martin definitely has a history of this. The name Martin, according to what we hear. At Fardog, two different people take. He's talking to you, Fardog, in the thing. Eat Squawk. I like that name. Pull that comment up. Eat Squawk, dude. That's going to be our new saying. Eat Squawk. Yeah, somebody eat Squawk. Both situations were completely different. You have to look at the person. Herron isn't helping himself, though. Unfortunately, nothing is ever fair at bass. That's what we're learning.
Or what we're hearing anyway.
Hearing.
So Herron's not helping himself. He's retired now, right?
Well, he fishes the NPFL, but he left bass.
But he's done with bass. Yeah. So he literally has nothing to lose by putting us all out there.
He doesn't, but he said, remember, he said in that thing, if you say that they told him, if you say anything about any of this on a podcast or whatever, you're gone.
If it comes to light, you're out. You'll never fish a tournament again, is what they allegedly told him.
But okay.
He said he's got it recorded. Also,
he did say that. But here's my thing, and maybe I missed it. And I'm not the snooper, or snooper is not the right word. Cerebral. Cerebral at least will dig in the facts and everything, and try to catch these little things. But if you notice back during that one time, and maybe I'm totally wrong, but this is what I thought I heard. He said he had it recorded.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, he was in his truck with his son playing over the radio.
Yeah, I heard that too.
Yeah.
How are you recording it?
Maybe his kid was
his
recording.
Son had his phone out recording it.
Yeah.
Maybe. But you see what I'm saying?
Right.
Like he said that one, and then he said, now, if I'm an attorney, and I'm not an attorney, and I got you on cross-examination like Law and Order.
If you're sitting on the side of the road talking to the cops, they're going to pick you apart for that.
Yeah, I would, and like, I'd say, Mr. Herring, you said that you had it recorded. Is that correct? Yes. But you also had it playing over your loudspeakers. Can you tell us how you recorded it? That's why I would love. But, and again, that's just the way my brain works, because my wife doesn't watch anything but How to Kill Her Husband TV shows and How to Get Away with It and all that stuff. So I was watching that going, But you see what I'm saying? Now, can't grow real backwaters. Can't grown-ass men just go fish and stop all the drama?
When there's not money involved, yes. Anytime there's money involved, it's going to breed this.
Yes, I agree with you like that. But you know what? If we're not lying, like, honestly, it's what people talk about. Like, I've had 10 people come in the shop today like, did you watch Slick's podcast? And I'm like, not yet. I hadn't watched it. So I watched it before we did this. Cerebral Mercer says he's not about drama, yet all he does is drama.
You got to take that for what it is. What is he?
He's an entertainer.
He's an entertainer. That's what
and
he's
also
paid to do.
He's also, according to that podcast, he's a contract worker.
Right.
He's not employed by Bass.
He's an entertainer.
But do you think he kind of is a spokesperson for Bass?
I think he's probably bound to the same contractual obligations as the anglers.
I'll do this. I'm a brand ambassador for Digital Sportsman. I 100% though, will push Digital Sportsman stuff out as the company is growing and everything. Even though I'm not technically employed by them, I am associated with them enough to where that's my job. So even though Mercer might not be technically employed by Bass, he's going to push the Bass product.
He's probably got the same contract that they have.
Am I right in that?
You have to live by these rules, and if they're willing to kick an angler off the Elite Series for talking bad about their contracted employer, you gotta believe that he's under the same contract, right?
Right. Well, Will Batron, polygraphs don't hold up in court. That should be the end of it, basically, is what he's saying. End of the discussions on polygraphs. It's not trusted at the highest levels. It's not legit. I agree with you, but I also do think that it's one of the easier ways to at least police it.
Yes, but I think, and
knowing you might have to take a polygraph should make somebody think.
They know they have to take it before they even sign up to fish.
Should is my point. Yeah, right.
But
if I'm wrong, slap me in the back of the head and go, Danny, you're wrong.
Do you think that the person administering the polygraph, just like anything else, can't lead a result based on the questions they're asking to get what they want?
Oh yeah, I mean, And they
just
try, don't
just
they
like
try
in
to
this
trick you?
case, if
Have you ever taken one?
No.
if I asked
haven't
you,
either.
did you get any information that would help you in this fishery versus did you ask somebody to give you information on this fishery? Those are two different questions that
Are looking for the same answer.
are
Yeah.
looking for the same. One is leading you to the answer
Yeah.
that they want.
Right.
And the
Right.
other one is just asking you straight up, like, did you go looking for information? And those are two very different things. One I look at is like, yeah, if you went out and trying to get information, soliciting people, paying people, taking guided trips, that is blatantly against the rules. The other one, just like I said earlier, overhearing a conversation in a tackle shop, I got information about the lake, but I didn't go seeking it.
Right.
You know?
Right. I gotta get a refresher here. Now,
When it comes to the hearing a conversation in the tackle shop, for me though, it's when the conversation starts and you hear it, what's your reaction?
Yep.
Do you turn around and walk out, or do you set your keys down and lean over on the counter?
Well, and I think
And you can stay quiet.
Can I answer that?
You can stay quiet all you want,
Here's-
but you're sitting there listening, knowing that you're getting information.
Okay. I will. Let's just say I'm not going to tell you what tour he was on, but I had a professional angler in the shop, and we talked about that. And his thing was, this is what he said. He goes, "It's a gray area, but technically, as long as you're not having the conversation with me, I can be over here looking at such and such baits on the wall, and you can be having that conversation with that guy, and I'm not breaking the rules." Now, I don't. That was his interpretation of it, but let's say that guy, that angler, is one of my friends. I know he's fishing Lake Lanier, and I have a guy in here who's talking about Lake Lanier baits, and I say, "I really like this guy. I want him to win." I go, "What'd you catch him on last Saturday?" And I'm talking with the customer,
Mhm.
and he's telling me all that. Now, this guy is not participating. He's just in there. Is he breaking the rule? By the spirit of the rule, he might be, but is he really breaking the rule? I'm not talking to him. He's not talking. He's not taking part. And he didn't ask for that conversation to start. You see how
and
I could bend that rule a little bit?
yeah, but that's what I was
Am I
asking
right?
about the
Do you know that
polygraph.
rule?
It's I think the person asking the question can lead that. If they were getting a polygraph and that person said, "Hey, did you go seek any information?"
Right.
Or "Did you get any information?" Seeking, no. Getting information, yes.
Right.
He didn't do anything wrong, but he's still got to answer yes to the question.
On the polygraph, he does.
Yeah, because he was led into that answer.
Clint, because I know a lot of this you're going to be quiet on for a while. Give me your interpretation of that situation that I just said. Guy's in here. He's my buddy. He's fishing the professional tour. I know he can't talk to nobody, but I purposefully start a conversation, or maybe just not on purpose. He's just in a tackle shop and he overhears information. By the spirit of the rule, did he break it?
I think there's a big difference in over here. I think that's where the intent gray area comes in, because it's like, is he hanging around and listening to you talk about Lake Hartwell on purpose, or is he literally just
Say he
in his own
doesn't
world?
know. I'm
Yeah.
going to talk about, because he's my buddy. He spends a lot of money in my shop. And I, on purpose, start that conversation. Is he still technically breaking the law? And guys, listen, you guys are blowing up the comments. So if we don't catch them, type them again. There's just so
I think
many
it's
going on.
Basically, like, as soon as he identifies that lake is being talked about, he should either shut it down or report it to Lisa. Because like all he has to do is, "Hey, I'm in this tackle shop, and they started talking about Hartwell. I just walked out. Just letting you know," or whatever. That's all they have to do. That's all Matt Herron had to do was, "Hey, I talked to him about this," or whatever. If he would have called before when he realized that happened, then yes. Or with Scott, if he would have realized 4 months before he decided to turn himself in, that's what he did. Then
That's a nice little dig
Yeah.
right there. Yeah, no, but I get it.
Yeah.
But my question is, technically, are they breaking that rule? If they just overhear me talking,
I don't think that's breaking the rule. I mean, unless you're blatantly sitting for. It'd be like if we were doing a podcast on Lanier right now, and somebody came in that's fishing a tournament and sat in for the podcast. That's intent to talk about Lanier.
Right, but so if you're sitting in front of the polygraph and I ask you the question, did you get any information that would help you fish this lake? Your answer is yes, because you did. But if I asked if did you solicit any information or seek any information, and that's where I said I think it comes down to the person administrating it, and sometimes maybe the answer they want to get.
Right. Let's see. Yeah, guys, listen, there's just so much going on, so I apologize if I miss your comments and all that. But all right, pull up Ron Swinford's right there. Well, we'll do Anthony's next. Pull up Ron's. I know Trey Zaldane said that she had been told not to talk about some things on social media. She has some interesting ideas and opinions about the business, and I do follow her on X, and she does. I don't necessarily agree with all of them. Now, Cerebral says, he mentioned something to the California. Pull up Cerebral.
Damn.
That's my daughter.
Which one? Courtney?
No.
Yeah.
Justin just says yapping?
No, I was laughing about Anthony's under hers.
I'll do that. Okay, pull up Anthony's before we get started.
Yeah, that's what I said. Damn.
Mercer always complains about his back hurting, but still eats like a pig and keeps gaining weight. Looks like a slob. Now, listen. We ain't fat shaming nobody on this show.
Yeah, not
Because listen, I'm not saying I'm the most proportionally correct individual out there. Waist down, yes, but up above, no.
We're gonna leave that comment alone.
It's up to interpretation on that, But still, go back up to Cerebral, because up there he talked about. You mentioned the guy was from New York and California or something.
Yeah,
he says. If y'all want to know why they used the California guy, I have direct knowledge.
I want to hear it. Let's hear it.
Throw it out there in the comments, Cerebral.
Yeah, put it out there.
I want it before you make a video.
And that's the thing. Like, the only information that we have is what we're getting secondhand.
Yeah. So Jeremy says that there's a difference in cheating and breaking rules, and I agree with that.
Yeah,
I agree with that. But pull up Trent, our old buddy Trent. It's really simple, guys. Don't solicit information. It's about intent. Everyone gets hung up on dock talk phrase because that's the PR phrase used by another angler. It's really simple to follow. Inadvertently, it's not the rule, it's the intent. And I agree with that. But how do you judge?
You can't prove intent, no matter how hard you try.
Listen, I've got Trent is right, but I've got the answer.
Get rid of it.
Get rid of the no information rule. I feel like it should be like this. I say up until 30 days before a tournament.
Yep.
Number one. Number two, you can't pay for information.
But even the 30 days, I don't think you can even police in a way that's effective to catch everybody that does it. But like, I attribute it the same way as guides jumping into a tournament and jackpotting a tournament. That drives me crazy.
Yeah.
You're on the same lake 260, 300 days a year. Don't fish tournaments on that lake.
Well, it just depends. Like that same question to Scott Barnes, the mayor over on Lanier, he's like, hey, if you want to be the best, you got to beat the best. So I get it. So it's like that. But now, I think, honestly, like, just do away with the information rule altogether. Let it be pandemonium. Let them guys get whatever the hell they want.
Just
let the
don't
best
let it
win.
If they get caught paying for it, yes, that's like, if they're taking guided trips out before the tournament, yeah, I got a problem with that. But
yeah,
that you can police, right? Because somebody's going to see them out there, especially like
you kill the
Lanier.
Put it on you now. I want to get
if you kill the information rule, you get no practice, nothing. You just show up on Derby Day and go.
No practice, kill the information rule.
Yep.
Clint, what do you think about that solution?
Definitely keep the information rule because I think it's very important.
Okay, why do you think it's important?
I think it's important because it just helps put some regulation on it, right? Like, it's like, hey, you shouldn't be doing this. Like, this is something we're trying to police because it can get out of hand, right? If you open it up free for all, it's going to be about who's got the biggest pocketbook, and we obviously see how that worked out.
You can't pay, but you can't pay. Paying's illegal.
Well,
I'm just playing devil's advocate.
They'll still play the gray area, and they'll get paid, or they'll get a boat, or they'll get something,
right?
Or it's going to be trades, like apparently some people have been doing. It's just like, hey, I'll take you out on Lake Okeechobee, you take me out on Ray Roberts. I'm not saying that happened, but
hypothetically speaking.
Yeah. But you know what? It's just like, so what's the difference? Okay, but like it says you can get publicly, you can watch YouTube videos and get public information. Okay, what's the difference? Now, Trent, when Trent was in the NPFL, what's the difference if I made a video on purpose of what's going on Lake Lanier with the sole intention of Trent or any of the other anglers that I know? The only reason I put that video out is for that guy. Now we're not breaking the rule, but my intent the entire time was to help him. But it's so hard to police.
Yeah,
it's so hard to police.
And like,
I get what you're
what
saying.
what
I gotta have people.
you
talk.
look at somebody with a massive social media following, right? And they're fishing the Elite Series. Everybody knows what lakes they're going to fish, 4 or 5 months before they ever start the Elite Series. So a guy with a massive YouTube channel or puts out Facebook videos or TikTok videos, you don't think there's anybody on there with a comment that's like, hey, you should fish this when you guys hit Hartwell, or you guys should fish this when you hit Lake Fork. Does that guy have a competitive advantage because he has such a huge following versus the guy that, just qualified this year, has no following?
Yeah, you can't keep people from commenting on a YouTube video.
You can't keep people from talking to you at the dock either.
Darren Moss agrees with me. No rules tournament may the best cheater win. I say, okay, pull up. Jimmy Dixon says, let's see if this goes to court. Do you really think Matt Herron's going to take him to court?
He sounded pretty adamant that he was building the case, at least, because he said this isn't over.
So what do you think his case is going to be?
Wrongful termination, probably.
What do you think? Same thing? I mean, 'cause technically he's a contractor, so can you wrongfully terminate it like that?
I mean, if you cite a rule that's against your policy, that I guess.
So we don't know.
It's
we're
gonna
not
go.
lawyers here.
Baby.
It's got to
We're
come
just
down to the fine
fishermen.
print.
Huh?
That's got to come down to the fine print.
Real backwaters right there. Pull that one up. This is exactly why companies are dropping sponsorships and going toward more the influencer. Do you think it's because like the bad press with the cheating and stuff, real backwaters? Is that what you're saying?
I think one of the scariest parts of it is like this negativity is what gets put out, right? Like the only times we're around or involved in the news with fishing, it's negativity. The walleye guys were like the most recent one.
Yeah.
Or boat accident was probably another one.
Yeah.
Like the fact that the negativity is what gets spread, that's the problem. It's like, we go no rules, no nothing. You can get as much information as you can. What does that teach our younger generation? What does that teach them on how, this is how I win?
Networking.
Because
I agree. Exactly. Pull up Thad Moody's thing right here.
I agree. I don't think that's good for the sport. I just don't see a way that's fair to police it that's equal to everybody.
Okay, pull up Thad's right here. Put steroids back in pro sports in their own league and have no rules on gathering as much information before turning. Let's see how big a bag we can catch. But if you string fish, you're gone. Now listen though. Now Ron, there's several big baseball fans in here. You can't tell me baseball was on a decline in viewership. But when Sammy Sosa and Mark McGwire were chasing those home run records and just crushing the friggin' ball, and Barry Bonds was crushing the freaking ball and all that, we were not watching because at the end of the day, we want to be entertained.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
But it was totally illegal. Those guys are not going to get in the Hall of Fame. Baseball used that period, though, to get back in the national spotlight. They rode on the back of guys breaking the rules to do it. Now, that might have nothing to do with fishing. I'm just talking about baseball perspective. Because when them two were chasing home run records, were you not watching ESPN to see who hit the next one? Or watching
I lived 45 minutes to an hour outside of St. Louis, so you better bet I was watching.
Yeah. Have you seen Mark McGwire now? Mark McGwire looks like Alex now. He's about 140 pounds. He don't look as buff as Clint.
He was back then because I think I met him in Busch Stadium by accident around that time. I think it was the year actually he broke the home run. He is a massive individual.
How'd you meet him by accident?
I don't remember. I was like drunk? 5 years old.
I thought you were okay. But think about like the home run at the All-Star thing. And you had Sosa and you had McGwire and all that. That was made for TV.
It was. And
baseball,
it was great TV.
And I don't give a shit.
It was a golden era of baseball.
They know that they were roided up and they ran with it. So that's just Sometimes the companies can get greedy, or the organization can get greedy, knowing that, like you were saying, sometimes bad publicity is better than no publicity. You know what I'm saying? But baseball recovered because of that. Now, that might not have any damn thing to do with what we're talking about.
I mean, look at Slick Johnson. He's only so massive because he is so polarizing.
Well,
if you had a bunch of people that just agreed with him, he would be nowhere near as popular as he is right now. It's because he has so many people. It's bad press is press, you know?
No.
Okay, pull up Trent's. Now this is a point. Now this is correct. Yes. He is correct. Here's the problem with all this. The anglers voted for more polygraphs in 2025. More polygraphs are done, and now the anglers are saying they're not accurate when they get caught cheating. Funny how it works. 100% agree with you on that. Cannot argue that at all.
Well, and that brings up on that podcast, the vote. Do you remember that part?
Yes. Go ahead and tell everybody what you're saying.
So he was saying that
this is Matt Herron.
That Bass basically said that there was a three-way split between people that wanted it there, people that wanted only part-time, and people that wanted it gone completely. And
he did one.
He did one and found,
I think he said 70%,
70% or more of people were, I guess, in favor of it either being restricted or gone.
We're talking about forward-facing on this.
Forward-facing sonar. So I agree with the point that he made that if you had 33% of people saying I want it gone and 33% of people that saying I want it limited, then naturally I think that would be the side. If you're really listening to the anglers, that would be the side that you would go on, because that makes up 66% of your anglers. But they went straight to the 33% that wanted it all the time, or I guess he basically said, well, they can't make up their mind, so we're just going to keep it.
One of the things a lot of guys will do on a poll like that is you'll have, say, 33% for, 33% against, 33% indifferent. It's all political spin, how you do that. So technically, you could say 33% are in favor of keeping forward-facing sonar, when really they're not. Or you could say 33% are against it, when really they're not, because 33% just really don't give a crap.
Yeah, and he said the questions.
It's how you spin it.
Yeah, they asked a series of questions that they were, just like we brought up earlier, they asked a series of questions that were going to get them the answer that they wanted anyway,
and
which is why he did his own.
But how do we know who all he actually asked? Because I've heard from a lot of the anglers that he did not even come close to polling the entire field.
Yep. And then
so
he said he left out like 23 or 25, but
he didn't do none of the rookies.
It goes back to, this is a private company. They don't have to ask you anyway. They can do whatever they want. If you don't like it, go fish another league.
I get it.
So you can't be mad at them for making a decision that benefits their business, because at the end of the day, that's what they are. They're a business.
Right. David Weaver. Boy, we're behind on the comments, guys. We're trying it out.
and Bass did their own survey. Like, Bass already did it internally. Like, they already got the results. And I mean,
yeah, it's
not what not even remotely close to what Matt said.
Is it not?
No.
And I believe you, because I know you got. Yeah, I believe you. Yeah. Danny, where'd you get that bush apple? It's right up here at Trent's or Gents or whatever the hell this store is up here. So let's see. Watching YouTube videos and how they caught them and what they were just before tournament, they can do that. The rule is solicit, not get. I know, but I think it's just, I'm trying to catch up. Dave is a paid mouthpiece. Pull up T-Toms. We know, and listen, Trent, we know it's the intent. We know it's the intent, and intent's everything, but it is kind of hard to, it is a he said, she said, on a lot of these things, you just have to guess the intent. Some of it's not always black and white, but you're right. We know that, of course, for the conversation tonight. We're just trying to stir the pot. But pull up that. If a player on a football team is working out at a public gym and they hear somebody talking about a play that a rival team is going to be running at their game that week, are they cheating? In my opinion, no. No. And ethical, Charlie.
Should I go on record real quick and say that my favorite baseball team is the Houston Astros?
You should not have told anybody that. Bang, yeah. But listen,
but they cheated. So
they cheated. They did. And they didn't get punished near hard enough.
I think that they're paying for it now.
Oh yeah, because
They're
suck.
paying for it now.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
coming. Let's see. Pull up Charlie Adams down there. And now, see, this is how far behind we are in the comments,
Oh,
guys.
goodness.
He says an ethical angler would walk out and come back later. Yes, I know. I tell you what. Go ahead and scroll all the way down. No, to the end. Go ahead and keep scrolling.
Somebody sent you $10.
Oh, well, thank you. Because you guys don't get enough love and respect. Cerebral.
Appreciate
thank
you,
Yeah, I
man.
love you too, dude. Now listen. All right. Now we're kind of caught up. If we missed your comment in any of that, now start putting it so we
It's
can.
time for question of the night too.
Shit, I forgot about the question tonight. I don't even have a question tonight.
I can't think of anything. I came up with one last
All
time.
right, I tell you what. Let's do this. I'll send somebody a magic swimmer. Here's my question of the night. Danny is not going to. What? What are you doing? What are you pointing at, Alex? Oh, yeah. Let me do serve IT. All right. But listen, this conversation's got me all messed up right now. Guys, if your company's looking for a 100% all complete IT solution for your company, whether big or small, Serve IT is a company for you. Go to serveit.com and check them out there. The best processes is an American-based company, and they will fulfill any and everything from problem solving to creating what you need for your company to do exactly what it was meant to do. You don't need to be wasting your time doing your own IT. Let Serve IT do it for you. And again, if you're looking for an IT job, go to serveit.com, hit careers. They might be, exactly what you want to do. So check them out. Was that quick enough?
There you go.
I'll ask for forgiveness on that later. How many calories for a dog it ain't got it on there. Read the fine print and find the answer for me. Okay. How many calories does a Busch Light apple have? There you go. First person to put that in there, you win. First person puts that up. How many calories? Oh, does a 12-ounce Busch Light apple have in it? Damn, look at them questions. Anthony Hampton, first one, 130. We had to knock it out real quick. But boy, a lot of you guys knew that. So anyway, all right, Anthony, I'll send you a magic swimmer when I get back from the Bahamas because I'm going to be gone for a few days. And I ain't even going to think about this shit. You want another one? Okay, there you go. So that all right. So anyway, here's your 130 calories. Like that. All right, here we go. All right, now let's get back on the conversation. All right, so there's so many ways to go with it, but I do think that a lot of you guys send it with Kevin. Kevin's not going to be here for a while. For those of you that don't know, Kevin is going to be having surgery and he's going to be out for probably 5 months.
Speedy recovery.
Absolutely. We're praying for Kevin. That'll happen. He got moved back. So I think that's next week. So Father Time's not going to be here for a while, but we'll figure out a way to get it to you. Clint, give me your best safe opinion on the entire thing. How can it be fixed? How can the no info rule be fixed across the board in the simplest, easiest term, other than saying just don't cheat? Oh, Kevin's watching.
I mean, I feel like what's going to fix it is just, I think they're moving in that direction. Like all the negativity and stuff we see from the same 3 guys on YouTube seems like that's what's actually going on. But it seems like for the most part, the anglers are pretty happy about it. And like most of them are like, okay, it's shaping things up. Like, I don't think it's a black eye at all. I think it's one of those of like, hey guys, like don't cheat. Like we're still being serious about it. And I mean, I think so far so good with everything.
So you think for the majority of them, they're happy. It's just the guys that got caught.
Yeah, I think it's just the 2 stains in the white sheet that are trying to make it blow it up like it's.
All right. How about Ron Swinford's question right there? Pull that up. Do you think that the MLF should have suspended Sprague a few years ago for cheating instead of hiding it for 3 tournaments and then making him pay the money back?
100%. They should have been public about it at least.
Yeah, well, that goes to the transparency thing that a lot of guys are talking about.
That's, I think, what I think has drawn up a lot of this drama is, as a company, especially one with as much media coverage as all 3 of these leagues have, I think the best approach is always going to be transparency. And, if they are running it like the mafia and just trying to keep everything quiet, I think that's the opposite of the approach that they need to take.
Mm-hmm.
Put it out there if you've got something negative going on, put it out there and address it. If you're not doing anything wrong, just address it. And I think if people see that you're at least addressing it, and if you are wrong, maybe admitting that you're doing something wrong or did something wrong or made a bad decision, and you address it and you try to come up with a game plan for moving past it, I think that speaks a lot. Now, hiding it looks like an admission of guilt, whether you are or not, and I think that's some of the problem that they're having right now, and why there's such a negative perception of what's going on, because we're not finding out about things that affect the outcome of tournaments for weeks and weeks and weeks after it happened. I think if something happened, and they've gotten better at it, if you look at the Bass releases, when they find out about something, they put a press release out, and they don't really take a side on it either way, but they're at least releasing it. But some of the bigger stuff isn't coming out maybe as quickly as it should, and isn't getting addressed maybe as quickly as it should.
You guys, okay, first of all, go up to I'm gonna hit Cerebral's. Go up a little bit, back up to Thad's, right there. Now this is very important. You guys listen. It says people want to learn fisheries, support the fisheries biologists, go shocking and surveying with them, or request the results. It's public record, and the more requests, the more funding comes in. So that's very good, and a lot of guys are recognizing that. In the comments section. Cranking and yanking, they did want it. Pull that up. But do we really have a dog in this hunt? It only affects them, Bass, and the sponsors. The guys want it. We can discuss it, but do we really have a dog in this hunt? Nope.
Doesn't affect my money.
No, and I'll be honest with you, but it's just fun to talk about every so often. And we will. And listen, somebody mentioned in there about fishing. If you ask us a fishing question, we'll talk about it. So if you bring it up, we will.
On that, does it affect me? No, not monetarily, but I do a lot of times want to feel like if I'm spending my money somewhere, it's with a company that has integrity. And I can tell you for sure that if I feel like a company doesn't have integrity, I stop spending money there.
Did you watch any of the tournament this weekend?
No, I was at Hartwell Saturday.
But you were there.
Yeah.
So I watched it. And in the 4 days I watched it, not one time, if I'm being completely honest, did Bass's integrity cross my mind while watching that tournament. I was watching for the guys involved. So I'm just wondering how much of that does the average guy like me really think into question? Because my world's not run by tournament bass fishing. Right. I enjoy watching it now, but you know what I'm saying? It didn't even cross my mind, so maybe that's on us. Maybe that's a fault of mine. Pull up Cerebrals, and then we're going to get the Craft Masters right there. And guys, I will say this about Cerebral. He's a goofy bastard. He is. I like him. I don't watch. There's a lot of channels out there that I don't watch because I do feel like they're just throwing out crap and they're trying to be first to everything. I'm going to give Cerebral his due. He does at least research it. I'm not saying I agree with everything he puts out, but of all the channels out there that is digging for news or wants to be that, Cerebral does go in depth and do some research. So kudos for him on that 100%.
Is this somebody with a YouTube channel?
He has. You should go.
I'll go subscribe to it. I appreciate stuff like that. And I don't like to formulate an opinion based on stuff like slicks. I have no proof that it doesn't affect me, number one. And number two, I can't prove it either way. Yeah. The guy could be lying through his teeth. I have no idea. I have no factual evidence to make a decision on that.
That's at least what Cerebral.
I can tell you what it looks like, and I can have an opinion on what it looks like and what I would have done in that situation. But I love when people dig into it and give me the facts of this is why it is what it is. And if he says it has teeth,
his ass got banned from the Bassmaster Classic.
Who?
Cerebral. I don't think he can go to the expo or none of that stuff.
Dang.
And so he got a damn plane and he got a thing that flew around and said, "Where's Cerebral at?" You know how you see at the beach those planes with advertisements
with the banner hang.
He did that. A damn fool. All right, Craftmaster wants to know real quick, what's the bite everyone's seeing so far this week? I can only give you Blue Ridge. For me, there was a little bit of top water going on. The spawn looked like it was just about completely over. I didn't see any bedded bass back in this pocket that I got to fish a lot of. Caught a few on top water. Caught some on a wacky worm. The one I caught, let's see, the top water, I caught it on a gunfish and a chrome and blue E-pop. Now, I did not fish Lanier at all, so I have no idea what's going on Lanier. Did you fish this week?
I was on Hartwell and Kiwi. I went to Kiwi on Wednesday.
I think the only fish I'd fished for maybe an hour or two 2 weekends ago on Lanier while I was, waiting on an event to start and hang out with some buddies. But I had a bunch of close and one good one on the big bait.
The big bait.
Yeah. Big glide bait.
Big glide bait. Okay. I thought it was a specific brand. Like I heard of the big bait.
Yeah, I caught a good one on a glide bait.
On a glide bait. What did you see out there where you were fishing?
I caught a couple on a darter at Kiwi, and then on Hartwell, everybody was a minnow or a worm. For the most part. There was a little bit of top water, but it wasn't.
Yeah, and when I say I caught top water was sporadic.
Yeah,
it was very sporadic. And then I threw a bone. I changed that. I threw a bone E-pop because it was cloudy, and that was earlier. There are several groups that stay together. Bottom line outdoors. There are several groups of guys that stay together. If you don't think that they aren't giving each other info, you're crazy. But that's legal.
That. Yeah,
that's something that is legal. You can talk competitor to competitor. That I do know. Trent has said that. Let's see. Will Bertrand, catching rainbow trout and watching the live at the same time. 2025 kind of kicks ass. Yes,
I like
does.
it.
I do. Marshall Pace, how about this? No info, period. Give these guys 1 day of practice on Wednesday before the tournament starts, 8 hours on the water with blast off and check-in time. Thought on this. Well, but that's kind of what they got is a no info, right?
Yeah, they've got that right now. That's pretty much.
It's pretty much no info. Yeah, it is no
period.
info, period. I don't think you can fairly give them 1 day of practice.
I say they all show up in the same boat with the same electronics.
Yeah, you want to go back to the old 150 days, and
I think a day and a half. Like I think that's plenty.
A day and a half of practice.
Day and a half of practice, and then not know where you're going. I don't know. That's tough for the schedule to not know where you're going. But
yeah, now if the company paid their travels
so much lodging, I mean, this in advance.
But I see what you're saying. It would be maybe they should do a surprise.
I think they should do one tournament a year that's like that.
Surprise.
Yeah.
Like, we're not going to tell you that tournament, just be ready to go. They can at least give you the geographic location.
Yeah.
And they could schedule it where it would be like where their last tournament was.
Between two travel spots.
Like now they're going from Hartwell. The elites are going from Hartwell to Texas, right?
To Fork, yeah.
So they could have that
in Louisiana or
somewhere along the way. You guys are going to have a tournament in between this one.
Yeah. I think that'd be fun.
That would be cool. Ron Swinford. This is a little juicy right here. What do you guys think about big companies like Berkeley and Strike King stealing bait designs from smaller companies? Shit happens. It does happen.
It does happen. I hate it, but I don't. There's no way to stop it.
It's a dog eat dog world.
Yeah, there's no way
to
capitalism.
Stop it.
Yeah.
I think
it's a dog eat dog world, except when it comes to no information.
Yeah. What do you think?
I think it just started out as always like, how do I take this bait and make it better?
Right.
And then it started out with good intention, and then it started just being straight up, let's innovate faster than them.
I want you to go ahead and think about the next comment while we're answering this question.
Next comment.
Look at the next comment down. Look at the name on that one.
Question for Clunn. What's his go-to, bro?
No. Look at the name of the channel. Clint catches dinks and has thunder thighs. That's one of your buddies right there. Hey, Tatum. I got to say hey to the CEO of Fish North Georgia, my daughter, or else I hear about it when I get home. Well, I tell you what, Ron, that is a tough one because, I will say this, that lots of times when a smaller company has it, they're still they're expensive. And when Berkeley and them come out with it, the price point does come down because they can mass produce it. That's the only positive thing for the average consumer.
There's ways around that, though. You can license it. There's all sorts of things you could. I don't like ripping people off. I mean,
you don't, but if you got a company and you're beholden to stockholders and stuff like that, you got to make a profit.
Integrity.
Well, yeah, that's a whole. I get it, but it's just like every company does that in a certain way. A podcast will do this.
Yeah.
They'll see it's in the YouTube world, it's called drafting, just like NASCAR. And it is a very real thing that you can take these courses on. And drafting means you let one channel in a given niche get it started. And guys, drafting is coming in behind them, taking what videos they did that worked, recreating that video for yourself and changing it just a little bit, he's already cleared the air and started the niche. And now you can ride his coattails to success. That's if you take YouTube classes, that is a literal topic that they talk about. They call it drafting.
Or
But
you can just steal their name.
What?
Or you can just steal their name.
Or you can steal their name,
I
like
think that-
Bassmaster did. I'm sorry, I am calling you out again. But you know what? I haven't seen another one of those.
You haven't?
Yeah, they had something called the Live Well.
Yeah.
Hell, there's a tackle shop up here in Blue Ridge or something I call the Live Well too.
But I think
That's okay.
I think that goes back to his point. Like everything at some point started as something else. Like, you know, the square bills we throw today are just because somebody invented a square bill back then.
Yeah.
But there's a huge difference between straight up ripping the bait off or taking their bait, modifying it, figuring out a way that it works better, and then coming out with a new product that may have been based on their design, but it's not their design, that you're literally mass producing faster than they can get it out at a cheaper price. And
I agree. Ron, in a perfect world, it would be better if it never happened. But just kind of that's kind of tough. What is your go-to brush pile bait, Thunder Thighs?
I would say minnow.
Minnow? Not the drop shot or nothing like that. Going with a minnow.
I'm shaking that minnow.
What about you, brush pile? What's your favorite brush pile bait?
same.
Minnow? What about you, Alex?
I don't really have a brush pile bait.
Yeah, there you go. Shake your head.
The kitchen sink.
Kitchen sink.
Hey, you will this summer.
Yeah,
Can
I
you
will this
believe-
summer.
Yeah, can you believe that the Braves brought back Eddie Rosario? No, I understand why they sent Kelnick down.
Glides are overrated.
Yeah, but I don't know about Eddie Rosario. Hell, I'll go up there for $50,000 a year and strike out on 3 pitches and swing it shit over my head. That's what Eddie Rosario does. Glides are overrated. There's still some on bed at Hollis for those wanting to know. When we fished them, there was some on bed, but they weren't locked on there yet. Ryan Sheffield, topwater fishing can go pound sand.
How many bags of horny
It
toads you got in
sucks.
your boat right now?
Well, it might, but right
It
now I don't
sucks
think
so
it's
bad
kicking
right
like it's not kicking yet.
No, it's so bad right
Oh,
now.
I thought he was just saying in general. Yeah, you know, because
No.
I think he's just stirring the pot.
He is.
Yeah,
Clint, if you can Coleman Jones,
and a buzz bait.
if you can disclose, are these pros using sponsored baits that much in reality?
So actually, hell no.
No.
Yeah.
So I'll say this, dude. I spend a lot of time on
Put it on
TikTok.
you. Put it on you.
I spend a lot of time on TikTok with the no-name bait makers and stuff, and you see a lot of big names in there, specific
my
colors and molds and stuff like that. Like, yeah,
My
and they're
favorite
buying
is-
thousands of them at a time.
Yeah.
My favorite is when they lip the fish so close to the boat you can't see it, and by the time they get it up over, they've already tossed that bait in the water.
Oh yeah, Patrick's fantastic at it.
Yeah. I will say this though, if you watched the meal, I'm not saying every time all day, but he was throwing a general.
Yeah.
And he said, I'm throwing a Berkeley General, and that's one of his
Yeah.
sponsors. But he was throwing it. But you're right. There's a lot of I know I tied some jigs for a few guys that are sponsored by other jig companies who will remain nameless. But just a couple colors. that
But
they
yeah,
like.
and I mean, for the most part, they do use their sponsored bait or a variation. It's like a Berkeley Stunna and a Megavash 110. Like a lot of guys that are sponsored by Berkeley will throw the 110 because that's the action they need for that fish.
You gotta throw what they're eating.
You got like these guys are going to throw what they're like, whatever they're dialed into. So if you're catching them on a super fluke and you're sponsored by Berkeley, I mean,
You gotta do what you gotta do.
yeah.
But we've had this conversation before, and you told me at one point, as long as that angler goes up and he's kind of like
Just don't
to
talk
his
about it.
sponsor, and he'll say, "Hey, listen,
Yeah.
I'm throwing this." As long as they communicate, generally there's no problem. Just when he speaks,
It's the same thing with electronics. Like a lot of Humminbird guys they've still got a Garmin live scope and they just have to put duct tape over it and all that fun stuff.
did you see?
Or screen mirroring.
What did
Yeah.
you see that about? Did you see what they did to Paul?
It wasn't bad. I don't know why they were so mad.
It got
It's
Yeah.
just his HDMI to his
Yeah.
so you could see it. in
But
the
it's
back.
like that guy was calling him out. Like that, that's a
he-
Garmin
he
screen.
was.
Yeah,
He was.
Yeah.
And like, but he was doing that for the cameraman.
yeah.
Yeah, I was
Not,
gonna say,
not
he
because
wa-
not
he
to
wasn't-
hide that he was using
he
a
He
doesn't
license.
doesn't have
Yeah.
an electronic sponsor that I know of.
I don't think he does,
No.
babe. I've never seen that. Well, that was a controversy last year with
Yeah.
a couple anglers that they had.
Yeah.
They
There's
were
some guys
sponsored-
that had their sponsored one in the.
The sponsor guy
Listen,
was pissed.
pretty soon you're going to see everybody with MBT Marine stuff on their
Mhm.
and you running whatever graph they want underneath.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I listen,
Yeah.
all I know is that the way those guys, and I forget the anglers, but the way they were talking about it was like he was breaking some kind of code or something like
Yeah,
that. I'm
and
like, well, hell, he ain't hiding nothing. The camera is right there. So anyway, but I know that was kind of a thing last year. Let's see. Jeffrey Johnson caught 12 or 13 on Carters in 3 hours this evening. Worms, swim baits, and crank baits.
That's cool.
Hey, 13 in 3 hours on Carters is good, dude. All right, let's see. We did his deep brush piles. What's your
That's a
okay? Pull up.
Very specific question.
I wish I knew who this was.
I know you do. What's your approach to deep brush piles on Lanier in the early post spawn? Brooks said they were on brush already.
Oh yeah, they're on.
Last week.
They're on the brush. I would go get a Sonar Pro this wiring harness, and I'd go scope the leaves.
You
of
think that's
that brush
Trent? You think
pile.
it's Trent?
Yeah.
Trent crossed my
Gotta be.
mind. Honest to God,
Gotta be.
Trent crossed my mind right there. That sounds like a Trent question
Yeah.
too.
Standalone lithium kit. It's legit. It saved my ass again this week because my GFI tripped at the hotel and I was camera boating at Hartwell.
Yeah.
So he's got the switch where you can go from AGM to lithium, and my lithium was completely dead because it only charged for like five minutes, and then GFI tripped because it was pouring rain. Then I still was able to flip it to AGM and had charge all day, and then plugged her in at Green Pond. So
That's right. So
Sonar
again,
Pros plug.
that's
even
right.
though
So
he's-
again, if you want a pleasant experience with your electronics and all on your boat, you need to go to Sonar Pros in Cumming, Georgia,
they do
and
it
set
right.
it up right there. And again, like you said earlier, probably 25, 30 of those guys on the elite
At
tournament.
least. And more talking about it. Like I mean,
Yeah.
there's a lot of chatter there.
There is a
That
lot
is
of
the
chatter.
best.
So Clunn is a big minnow guy, 40-year-olds in the mountain. Did we? Look, it says T on it. It's got
Yeah.
that is Trent. It says T. Trent doesn't have too much to drink tonight or something like that. Oh, is he
He's
laughing?
blowing
It
you up,
is
too.
Trent. Oh goodness. You know what? Honestly though, I didn't even see the damn T right beside the name. I was just reading the name and all that. Steve Pinkston, what's up, buddy? Right there. Hey, he has a very good underspin too. I'm telling you right now, Sugar Hill Baits, I got him. Run true. I'm going to tell you that. The paint job's very good. But if somebody thinks you're making money, they'll copy it.
Love me a horny toad. I love me a horny
Pull up.
40-year-old in the mountains.
40-year-olds. Oh, I know what he's talking about now. Dang, I just now caught it up. You want to talk about that?
No.
Pull up Ryan's. Ryan's coming. 40-year-old in the mountains. See, guys, if you would come before the show and hang out with us or after the show, you might know what we're talking about. I think we should invest a couple of grand into some lithium-powered RC boats and go drag whopper ploppers behind them and see who wins.
That'd be a heck of a fishing tournament.
You know what?
I'd do it.
That is a idea right there. The RC Fishing League. We could do that. We could do that. Or get a drone. One of them drones that people fly and try to catch fish with. Yeah, Clint, what's your favorite drone, and have you crashed one before?
Oh my God! Yeah,
Like he's pulling out all the stuff.
Yeah, I
from-
feel like we may have covered this.
Did we talk about that before the show?
We sure did.
I
Did you
crashed
have him on speakerphone while we were talking over
No.
here?
no, I crashed one. So flying a drone, been flying it for 5 days straight on Hartwell, no problems, doing all the cool shit behind the motors and all that stuff. And then so I'm filming with Easton yesterday, and I'm pop the drone up. I'm like 30 foot above his head, and I'm looking down at this bedfish. He's sitting there working the bedfish. I'm getting all the angles. All of a sudden, the big female comes in, getting all the cool stuff, and then all of a sudden, like drones make that buzzing noise, and so it's like, bzzz, and then we're both like sitting there. I look up, I go, oh shit, and this drone comes down and smacks like his center box in his boat, and bounces in the cockpit. And I was like, well, what are the odds of all the times for this drone to fall out of the sky? It's going to be over the boat on that padded skeeter deck
Yeah.
and land and still break in half. But it's,
I think the odds of you just landing it or it just falling on the boat is extremely low.
Yeah. So
That's funny though. Yeah. So anyway, he had a drone accident.
Second drone crash in 7 years. The first one, I smacked a cypress tree on the James River. That one was worse.
And alcohol was not involved in either of these.
No.
No, you're being totally professional on this.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Had you a couple of these fine bush apples, though,
Dude,
you might not have.
one.
Huh?
You got any more in there?
They're right over there beside you. I think there's another one. Is there, or did I drink them all? Oh, well, we're done with the bush apples for tonight. Sorry about that. Unpopular opinion, Ben Milliken is good for bass fishing and is a decent human being.
We were talking about that before the show.
We were talking about Ben before the show, and I know there are people out there that's had their problems and run-ins with Ben, and so he has run people the wrong way. But this man to my left is very close to Ben Milliken and has a very good relationship.
Wouldn't say close, but I'd spend a bunch of time with him.
Yeah,
but
okay. So closer than I am. You have good experiences with him.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So we'll just leave it at that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Cool dude.
He's a nice guy. He's a lot more approachable than everybody thinks he is. He is like, I think he comes off that way because he's very blunt and he doesn't mind telling you exactly how he feels about something.
Yeah.
But he's a great human being.
Okay. Listen, I'm not doubting you at all. Not doubting you at all. I have never met him, but so I have nothing negative I can say about him other than he should have got his fishing license one time. Let's see. Let's go. Ask Trent what his favorite Florida lake is. So I guess he's talking about Trent Palmer.
I know what. Don't ask that question on here.
No,
I know what lake he's talking about. No, Scott, do not ask that question on here.
Why?
Because it's a great lake.
Well, let's talk about it. We're here for.
I don't want to give it away.
Ain't none of these people going to jump on a boat and go to Florida.
You'd be surprised.
Mm-hmm.
Come on, burn a spot.
I'm not gonna burn this one.
You're being a
Austin
gatekeeper.
Felix.
What'd he say? Huh? Austin Felix.
Definitely not Trent.
Why is he calling?
Is Trent calling?
He's calling in.
Trent's calling in.
We got a phone in on the show. Can we put this
surprise
in the audio?
Surprise guest.
Talk,
My
Trent.
favorite Florida lake is Harris Chain.
You're lying. Is it really?
Yeah, Harris Chain.
There you go. All right. So his favorite lake is Harris Chain, Austin. Who asked that question?
South Georgia Bass, and it's
South
a
Georgia Bass.
buddy of mine, Scott Dallas.
So it's the Harris Chain. Trent, one question before I get going back on the show. Are you drinking?
Do what?
Are you drinking tonight?
Just water.
What kind of water? Yeah, so like that.
Sparkling.
So sparkling water. Trent drinks sparkling water. Probably with
Sparkling water. Yeah.
one of them
If y'all
foreign
haven't
names.
seen the pictures of Trent's cheerleading crew for Paul Marks on Sunday, it's pretty.
Oh, it was great. And Drew Cook.
Yeah.
We anchored out and cooked hot dogs in front of Drew Cook.
Did they really?
Yeah, on the pontoon.
Yeah, I did see pictures of that.
Yeah.
Oh, I haven't
Yeah.
seen
I'll
him yet.
send Clint, I'm sending you an Instagram video.
Okay, he's sending him a video like that.
Perfect.
Cerebral, just don't share nothing with Ben unless you want him sharing screenshots.
See,
All right, listen, I get it. Like I said, just I get it. I get it. There's just, that's what I'm saying. Not everybody's had the best, but you've had good relationships with them. And listen, not everybody out there in the world likes me either. So I mean that's the way it works. Thad Moody, I'm gonna drive up from Mississippi and bring y'all some better beer. Listen, we're balling on a budget, baby. We're balling on a budget. But we accept contributions and donations and all that stuff. What the hell was we talking about before Trent?
Oh, we were still on the podcast. We covered some of the stuff, but I think we left some stuff off.
What
we
else?
talked about the vote.
Yeah.
We talked about the vote, which he says is not maybe exactly the truth of what was.
Pull that camera up of him, of Clint. We got so much light in here. Y'all guys can't see it, but there is. I'll describe it for you. There is a bunch of portly individuals.
That's the picture I saw too.
Yeah, that's some big guys on that boat. Trent, I'm just kidding. There's 4 of them sitting there looking like they've got their favorite water beverage in there, just sitting there staring.
And that's the crazy thing is that's not the first time I've seen that. I don't remember which. There was an Elite Series event I was at that we drove by one of those Sea-Doo pontoons.
Yeah. Who is that?
And they were handing out biscuits.
Dean is asleep. What's Dean's last name?
Mullet.
Mullet? Dean Mullet? Are you lying? Is that his real name?
That's his name.
Dean Mullet
is
asleep on
sleeping on the boat while watching
On the
Drew
top,
cook on
yeah.
the pontoon.
on the cheer squad boat.
Cheer squad boat.
Yeah.
Listen, Ben seems like a 17-year-old stuck in a 40-year-old body. Dude, that's me. Other than the body's 53. That's why I get in trouble all the time. My mind would. If you guys knew what goes through my head on a given day, a lot of you guys probably wouldn't like me. Danny, you should do a FNGO tournament. All your guests, all your past guests participate. You know, Warren, that would be pretty cool because we've had some hellacious guests on this show.
I ain't fishing against some of those guests.
I mean, Patrick, well, if you could get them all here. If you could get them, I mean, you have Jordan Lee.
Yeah, I was going to
Walters.
say there's some on there I'm not fishing against.
Oh, I fish. Listen, I get.
We'll make it a charity
Sonar
tournament. That way I don't feel so
Look,
bad.
Sonar Bros, definitely not Dean Mullet. I didn't think it was, but whatever. Yeah, but but you still got your Kazas, your Brooks, and Clint can fish in it, and I mean,
Put it somewhere else.
but I give my money away anyway. So I mean, it'd be cool. What we'll do is we'll have to make them take a group picture and all that, so that way we can say, hey, I fished with these guys and all that.
Tell you what, I'll help weigh in and do things like that.
Don't be a poon. Get your boat out there and let's fish. That would be pretty cool. Now, getting them all together in one place would be a little bit tough.
Yeah.
But Warren can fish. Justin Spieth showed up tonight there. What's up, Justin? FNGO All-Star Bash. You know who would win? Probably one of these, if we did it on Lanier, it'd probably be one of these young high school kids that we get out there.
Probably.
It wouldn't shock me. Now, don't get me wrong. There's some good guys.
Have you looked?
Give me August, right?
These kids now, they're just spanking people that have been fishing for 20 years. Like,
now you've been ready to pull up a whole nother topic. Give me 6 months, Danny. Yeah, Thornton, I'll do it when you're there. We can do that. Tony says we could definitely help y'all out with that. Dave Aldridge says we could do it at Gunnersville with a pot of jambalaya.
I'm down.
Dude, I'm telling you, now his crawfish etouffee is life-changing.
Let's do it.
FNGO, we could have a Georgia versus Bama boys. Well, that way,
But
listen,
not at
Lee,
Gunnersville.
Well, Jordan Lee lives there, and so he lives over in Alabama. He'd be easy when he get there. Come take our money on that. We might do that. Sonar Bros, y'all see how Trent won the last 2 derbs on Lanier? What a hammer! And look at these guys. Who's Sonar Bro? Because it ain't Trent. Do the tournament end of April, 1st of May, preferably on Lanier. Felix and I are in. Yeah.
So right now,
Cerebral says he drive to Georgia for that. Georgia versus Florida sounds better. Nah, well, I mean, listen. I'll tell you what, we tried to set something like that. And John G's here tonight and make it kayaks and bass boats in the tournament. Can't leave out our kayak guys for that.
Or do 2 separate. Like you could do the kayak, like a kayak tournament and a regular tournament.
But here's the problem.
Hold it
Yeah, we can do that.
I've only had a
There you go.
handful of kayak guys on here, though.
We got enough.
Well,
we
that's
got
the
enough.
thing.
they got enough.
There's a bigger pot.
Listen, those kayak guys, they are.
Oh, I know they're tight.
You'd say it's a kayak tournament. There'd be 100 of them out there.
Well,
like
they mi-
stray cats out there in the boat.
Yeah.
ramp.
You'd be
The
dodging
sun-
little red RC flags on the back of little plastic boats.
the Sun Dolphin Navy is what I say.
Far
Look like a
Dog says,
sailboat
okay,
yacht
Warren
club.
Barnes says, hold it on Chickamauga. That's you guys are all telling what lake. If we're gonna hold it, it's gonna be on Lanier. So who said
Me.
you? Oh, come on now. Far Dog, this is interesting right here. Pull that up.
Heard.
I would love to know one-on-one what Rick Clunn truly thinks about the overall aspect of the world of fishing right now.
He said, I don't care. I'm getting high.
Well,
Yeah.
I'm getting high. I'd sit down and get high with Rick Clunn. I think that'd be fun.
I could tell you what, if you ran into Rick,
Lick.
Lick,
I don't want to listen. I don't want his cousin.
if
Lick.
you ran into Rick Clunn and you asked him, he'd tell you exactly what he thought.
Well, you know what? I'm going to reach out. I'm going to reach out to Rick Clunn and see who's Scaberry Creek. What's Scaberry Creek? Can't leave it. I'm going to reach out to Rick Clunn and see if I can get him on in there because I've kind of talked to him every once in a while on Facebook. So we'll see. Throw in several lakes in a pot and make it a random draw.
That could be cool.
And we're going to have Weller for dessert over there, Kevin. So eat squawk, make it multi-species. Guys, you realize how hard that would be to run all that?
Isn't Weller what I brought that The
got
last
me-
time that got you in
The
trouble.
last time I had Weller, we
Yeah,
lost
no Weller.
sponsors on
Weller's
this
out.
show. Scroll up though. See what Cerebral had something up there or something I missed. Pull it up. Florida, you have to DNA test them. All right, yeah, for sure. So anyway, what's up, William Fletcher? I'm gonna ask.
It would be cool to have a Fish North Georgia tournament to where it's like we have the bass tournament, but there's a trash fish as well. So it's
You
like
get to weigh in one
you
trash
got one
fish.
trash fish. It's either a big ass striper, a catfish.
That could be
gar.
fun.
Like,
That could be a lot of fun.
yeah.
But William fishes the NPFL, and I reached out to him to see if I can get him on the show, and we need to do that. And I'll get in touch with you again because I got busy. I know we talked about talking and trying to work it with his schedule. Very good angler. I'd love to have him on the show.
Can we get Kyle Welcher in on this?
Kyle Welcher, listen, I've mentioned it to him. He said down at ICAST he would do it, and he's actually been on. He was on with Trent and the guys that one night. Drew Cook, Trent and all them were over there being loud on the side. So I'll see if I can do that. What is Rick Clunn's drug of choice? I don't know, but I'll ask him. Golden bass. So you would have a tournament.
Double-digit mudfish. Yeah, he's right.
You think that would be cool?
Yeah.
What would your strategy be in that?
Go out in the timber and shake a minnow. I'd be trying to
Same
get
thing
a
he's
big
doing
old
every other
striper.
time.
Yeah.
Or what about?
I mean, how else would you target a trash fish?
okay,
I'm
no.
going
I
straight
got
catfish.
the tournament. I got the tournament.
Straight catfish
No,
by
no.
the dam.
Here's what you got to do. You can weigh in one bass, one striper, one catfish, and then let's say one brim, and then we can have one fish that's just an all-star that you can do.
Could you imagine how fast those boats would be running around? Like,
Yeah, because you're almost never going to catch all those fish in one area.
Yeah.
You're running all over the place.
Yeah.
Don't you think that would be an interesting
It
tournament?
would be I think
Or it could be like a
televise
little
that.
treasure hunt. It's like you got as soon as you have all five, you come back in or something.
Yeah. That's
First
a poker
person.
run for you right there.
like a poker run. First
Yeah.
person to bring in 5 different species of fish, or 4 species, and then one that can go any of them.
Dude, that'd be
Oh no!
Crappie.
You really want to make it hard? You go on Lake Lanier. You go one largemouth,
Yeah.
one spotted bass, one striped bass, one catfish, one panfish, crappie or brim.
and then it's total cumulative.
Now Philip says put gar in there. Yeah,
Nah.
you might could do that. But what do you think about that tournament?
Gar's a little. That's a real hard fish to target.
It is, but them some bitches just show
Something
up when you don't
flashy
want 'em.
and yeah.
But you might.
I
have
can
to
tell
do-
you, I could probably get on a good gar pattern. It's everywhere I've fished this past year.
Yeah.
Damn gar.
Have you talked about this Robert Blesky, the same that he made the other? Yeah, that was really cool. You guys need to check it out. He was just in the right place at the right time.
Yeah,
and say that.
On the way
I
here.
shared that, and that's actually what the things we should be talking about.
the good stuff.
The
That
good stuff. He went
we
and
don't
saved
ever
another
see.
boater that was out there probably where he shouldn't have been. And
Yeah.
not
Old man in a
prepared.
canoe with
Well-
no life jacket on.
well, they said he got wake capsized. I think is what they called it.
Yeah.
A wake boat came so close to him, the wake
Yeah.
went over the side of his boat and flooded his
Well,
boat.
if we're being honest, if you saw what he was in, he should have known.
Yeah, he was
better.
in one of those little 14-foot V bottom.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
like that happens to bass boats, and but
He was strapped. He just wasn't with the PFD.
Yeah.
what about shoal bass? That would be tough, but I'd love to do that. Walleye for number 5. That would be tough on Lanier.
They're there, though.
They're there, but that'd be tough
Kyle.
to target them. I think they have to fit in a live well. Oh, yeah. So your striper's got to fit in a live well.
Ooh, well, that could get tricky on bass boats. You got some of them that are connected and some of them that
Yeah.
are separated. Mine are separated.
And what are the regulations on it too? I don't even know for strapper.
That would be a good charity tournament, though.
It would.
A multi-species
But
tournament.
you could do it through like Tourney X or Fishing Chaos, and then just do the pictures of them, and
Then
because
you
it's
have
all- it
those
would all
guys,
be
then
linked.
you have those
anyway.
guys show up.
The guys that would
the
win.
kayak guys.
The guys that would
We
win.
don't want the kayak guys involved in this
Could you
tournament.
imagine? I want to see him get yanked around by a 60-pound flathead.
Hey, Didn't John Aldridge catch
Yeah.
Aldridge? I said
Aldridge.
Aldridge. I got Dave.
Yeah, I think it was 52 or 55 pound out of Lake Ackworth.
at a Lake Ackworth, and he caught it on like a rattle trap or something. Sitting
He had
in
to
there.
take it over
I
to the
hooked-
bank to get pictures.
I hooked like a 90-pound blue cat at Lake Watery on a flutter spoon off the dock, right? And we had consumed a couple adult beverages. So I get the bright idea of like, I'm getting my drag ripped out. And I'm like, uh-oh. Like, well, I was just bass fishing off the dock. with a big flutter spoon, and I'm like, there's a fish on there, and I'm running out of line, so I decided to jump onto a paddleboard, and so I'm standing on a paddleboard fighting this giant 6.5 foot long catfish, and it comes up beside the boat. My family's like video, and everybody's on the dock like hooting and hollering, yelling at me, and I'm sitting here and I'm just getting pulled around like I felt like there was a wake, but on the paddleboard. Finally get it up like beside it, and I'm like, I don't know how I'm gonna land this. And he like flopped up once, and everybody saw him. He was like, I mean, it's about as long as the paddleboard was, and goes straight down into a brush pile, and then my rod goes limp, and I'm like, oh, he broke me off. And then I pull it up, and there's a chunk of meat about the size of a golf ball out of the side of his cheek that are ripped out.
So
these comments are great.
I know, I'm reading the comments. Now, Far Dog, we're going to do your question right here, buddy. But there was Brent Barclay. I think I talked about this on a recent podcast, if not. But his son, what's some blackbirds that go and dive?
Cormorant.
No. Well, I always mess up how I say it.
Cormorant?
Yeah, okay. He hooked one. His son hooked one on a underspin.
Or a loon.
It might have been a loon, one of them two, but they got it totally on video. He landed it and let it go.
Justin's got one on his YouTube channel.
Is that what he caught?
Oh,
Yeah, he caught a blue heron, and it took off. Flying. He's got this thing hooked. But
Right.
he got it in and got it unhooked, and the amount of hate on that video, saying like he intentionally caught that
all
fish.
the freaking Rhonda Sykes.
Oh
come
my
out of
god,
the
dude!
woodwork.
I call them IDNR, Internet DNR. But every time you have a video like that, they're
Internet
always in there.
DNR.
Yeah,
It's like, oh my gosh, you're hurting that blue heron. I
yeah.
swear.
Well, the number of people that were like, you
Fred,
cast it.
that's what Ryan
yeah,
calls him,
you-
Fred,
You cast it
Yeah.
at that bird
which is what I call him.
on
now.
purpose. It's like, no.
Yeah. But y'all should see, me and Ryan have seen that video with him, that loon. I mean, it's just like, and then he gets it on the deck of the boat, and they let it go, but it was pretty interesting. Now, first of all, cranking and yanking, are wine coolers classified as adult beverage? Sorry, I had to say it. Only to the state, but not to most people. Now, Far Dog's question going up. He's got a question. I want to make sure we get it right there. Johnny Morris, Bass Pro Shops. Detriment or helpful to the sport? And go.
I think he was beneficial for a long time, and then I think the money just got big and it kind of changed. I think he's always supported conservation. He's always stepped in for that, but I think he's let business decisions take away from the original foundation
Intent of it.
and intent.
And you know what? Everybody talks about other companies like Berkeley and all that stealing baits, and stuff like
he's
that.
the king of stealing bait.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know the truth. I've heard there's some ways that they do that. Good intentions tainted by greed, says Ryan.
I
agree.
don't think Johnny Morris has been bad I think overall he's been good for the sport in the same way that even negative press is still press, right? I don't, you get kids that they look at Bass Pro Shops as like, almost like a theme park when they go in there. And I love that.
I'm going to that tank.
About the stores. I don't think it's been good for small fishing businesses.
Yeah. I will say this. I think they absolutely effed up Cabela's.
I do too.
I think Cabela's used to be that,
there's a lot of other facets to that they have completely messed up.
Yeah.
When you're talking about the things we fish out of, but
well, that aside, like, when I was little, that catalog, that Bass Pro Shop catalog,
you
was
waited for it.
You waited for it, and it was like, it was almost like Swimsuit Edition of Sports Illustrated. You waited for that. Them two things, like that. But I used to get a Cabela's one, and it was like different stuff, and it was thick, and it was like more of the stuff that I never got to do or see, and I loved them. I think
I still get the Bass Pro catalog.
I do.
And it goes straight to the bathroom.
Oh, really? You don't take your phone in the bathroom? You're reading the Bass Pro Shop catalog when you're on the job?
Depends on which bathroom, but yeah. Sometimes I'll just pick up the Bass Pro catalog and read it.
Okay.
Until my wife gets a hold of it, and then she throws it in the trash.
They do have a tendency to ruin the good things in life.
Yeah.
I didn't say it that way, Amanda. The support local tackle shops. I agree with that. So Sears catalog. Yep.
Yep.
How many of a 13-year-old, 14-year-old boys would look through the lingerie section of the Sears catalog back in the 80s.
with
That
their
was risque.
The 90s.
with
stuff.
their
The
with their
90s.
thumb in the BB gun section in case mom walked in.
Son.
Oh man! All right, so Becca Tripp.
Yeah.
Okay, well she's still watching.
Yeah.
Oh, and Amanda,
So
I
she-
heard you. See,
we got
watching
two
us
of them on here,
scoping this thing, but she
she can cook.
My wife can cook.
My wife can too. And Scott right there, South Georgia Bassin, he is a sucker for food. So anytime she posts food, he's the first one hearting it, commenting on it.
Yeah,
I like food too.
I do too. Damn, Amanda, go to bed. All right, so Tony Watkins says, I'm going to bed, guys. You guys are great.
Big world.
Listen, yeah, we're actually getting ready. We're gonna end this right now because I will officially be off for about 7 days. But Tony and Alex and some guys are coming in here on Thursday, so we will have a live well Thursday. I want you guys to come in and join them while I'm out of town, and make it as good of a show. You guys. Listen, that Bass Pro Shop catalog, Bister Twisters, Bagley's, all fishing porn. It was. And I still look at them. The fishing catalogs, man. The fishing catalog. Amanda's packing for the cruise. Let me tell you what my wife did. Because she went out and bought, like she couldn't get enough of her crap in a normal size suitcase.
Well, you got to tell the whole story. She said it's because you wouldn't let her put any of her stuff in your suitcase.
That's a lie.
And you took the big suitcase.
That's a lie. There's room in there. I'll take pictures when I get home, boys. That's a lie. It is. But anyway, you guys joined them Thursday night, but you guys in the comment section killed it tonight. Hell, we couldn't keep up.
There's probably 75% of the comments we didn't even get to.
And you know what? There's still going to be 3 guys that are going to give me a thumbs down on YouTube for it, no matter what. So anyway, guys, hey, listen, I appreciate you guys. Love you guys to death. I love doing this show with you guys. And when you show up like this, it makes our job so much easier. So again, I will see you next Tuesday night. I'll be back, but join the guys this Thursday. Not a lie. Thanks, guys, like that. I don't know what she's saying. Not a lie.
I think she was telling me that I was correct and you said it was a lie.
It's a lie. I'll pay for it when I get home. But as far as on camera, the woman's lying to you right now. I'm going to pay for it when I get home. So anyway, guys, appreciate you guys. Love you to death. We will see you on the next one. I'll see you next Tuesday. Alex and Tony and whoever will be here this Thursday. And so have fun. Appreciate you, Cerebral. You guys be good. We'll see you on the next one.